Run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low. Run the mountain, run the road. Run past the 8 stand to the commode. Oh, run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low.
Okay, welcome. Welcome back to the Mountain Outpost podcast. I am still learning how to use OBS, and here we are. It is December 22nd, and I am your co-host, Jamil Curry Jam, here with Skizzlefresh Skylar Hall. How you doing, sir? We finally found a few minutes to get together and to go live, so I apologize to all the fans out there that have been missing us, but we are back.
Yeah,
How you doing, sir?
we had too much time with each other in Austin at the running event, so we had to go on timeout for a couple weeks. But we're back. Yes, I'm good. Things are good. Legs are still functional. Training is going well, and I'm getting ready to just get beat up by a bunch of kids when we're done talking on this podcast. So,
Nice.
Par for the course in December. How you holding up, dude?
Doing okay, trying to survive, getting ready for the holidays, and let's see. It's been a whirlwind. I feel like the 2 weeks surrounding the running event and the opening of the Aeroviper Colorado office literally wrecked me, and it took me a couple weeks to recover. But I'm happy to say that I have been doing all of my runs, all of my training, despite all of that. So that is very good news. Very excited about that.
This is almost a record level of consistency for you in the last 2-3 years. So good.
Yeah.
Word. I'm excited to hear that.
It is pretty amazing. Starting to feel somewhat good. I raced the Cave Creek Thriller 24K this last weekend and pulled out a second place somehow. I'm not exactly sure. So I'll take it. Kind of the first stepping stone along the way.
I mean, that course is deceptively difficult because you're like cruising along, getting a rhythm, and then you're like, oh, all the climbing occurs in the last 5 miles. It's like this sucks.
Yeah, and it's pretty rocky.
Yeah.
I was actually wearing the new Pulsar soft ground trail shoe. I don't know if you've seen those.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a super minimal lightweight racing flat. Pretty awesome, but yeah. Definitely
interesting
dancing
choice.
over the rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. It made me feel fast. So I sprinted out of the gates, which was hilarious. And then I'm like, oh, crap, I can't keep this up for 15 miles. I got to settle into this a little bit.
Good. Yeah, no, that's wise. I'm happy you were able to back off. Cave Creek 24K was my first ever Aeroviper race. And I remember being like, oh, this trail running is basically cross country, right? Like this should be fine. And then just absolutely dying. So I'm happy that you had a more successful day than I did at that venture. And I mean, again, consistency, that's the name of the game right now. So glad that we're seeing you kind of keep it moving, getting some climbing in without doing ridiculous miles. And, finally our side-by-sides on Strava, that little last 4 weeks actually look kind of similar again, which usually does not happen. So
yeah, I should hit 60 miles this week, and then I did get the okay to participate in the last person standing event. I think my coach had forgotten about that, and he had something else on the calendar that day, and I asked him if I could still do it. So I'm not saying what my upper limit is. I think I said something previously, and I will say that is not true. So it's now completely up in the air, and the mystery will remain, but it's going to be a good time.
Good. And that goes down on January 1st, correct?
Yeah, New Year's Day, starting at high noon.
Joy.
Yeah.
So are we going to see you doing any other miles around across the years? When does across the years kick off? The 28th?
Yep, 28th.
Okay.
I'm entered in the 6-day, which starts on the 28th and goes through January 3rd. So I'll probably be doing some laps out there with people, just, chatting it, maybe just walking, jogging with people. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 of my runs out there. We'll just see. So
Cool.
Probably won't be out there for the full 10 days. Like once I do the last person standing, I'll probably taper down a little, maybe do a recovery the next day. But yeah, that'll be my main thing.
Sweet. Cool. As long as I have some time to see you while I'm down in the Valley of the Sun, then that's cool. Although I don't even try to get me to sign up for that last man standing. There's no chance in hell.
I'm not even going to mention it. So.
Cool. Yeah. I know Matt, I'm sure has already texted me like, all right, well, it's going down. It's not going down, Matt. I apologize. I will be doing different runs, but I will support you all.
To town?
Dropping in on the 30th.
Okay.
Yeah. So once we're done here, we need to figure out New Year's plans in a way that's not completely going to ruin your last man standing. But Jamil on New Year's Eve is always hilarious. And so I need to make that a part of my life.
It'd be 12 hours. We got 12 hours before the start. So
we've done way more stupid things.
Probably. That
close to a race or an actual event. So, and in the middle of events. So there it is.
Awesome. Well, it's been a minute since we've done one of these. I think the running event was our last one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we've got some stuff to catch up on. There's been a lot that's happened. Feels like a world worth of stuff since then. First thing, we kicked off Aeroviper, Colorado, launched that office. Have you made it to Colorado Springs yet on your trip?
I was down in Colorado Springs this past weekend. I didn't slide past the office. Mostly because I decided to get coffee instead of going for my run. So I will be down there again. I'm hoping to actually make it coincide with the group run next Monday. So that's my hope. But regardless, I'll pop down.
I think they are not doing one.
Well, then you know what? I'm just going to go throw rocks at the building.
You can do it, and you could just take it over for that day. I wouldn't be surprised, even though there's not an official one, if people just show up at Fossil at 5:30 on Monday night. So. Even if it's just
maybe I'll just go have a drink before coming back to Denver. I don't know the exact timeline. Perfect. I'll throw it in the Discord for the Coloradans if I'm going to be down that way, and hopefully we can link up for some miles and or drinks.
Nice, good stuff.
So, all right, so you guys opened the office. You also dropped the official announcement for the summer races that are coming down in the springs. Did I see that?
Yeah, we've got 2 that have been announced, and 1 is preliminarily open for registration. You can join the wait list. We're just waiting on a couple final permitting things for that one, but we've got 2 main events. One is May 14th and 15th called Ram Party, and it's a play on the Rampart Reservoir, which is a reservoir lake above Colorado Springs. And so you start at this really cool, it's like a bicycle themed little resort. You can stay in these little rooms, and they've got a little bar there. It's right near our office, actually, right on the edge of Manitou Springs. The 50-miler runs all the way up and around the reservoir and then all the way back down to the ranch. So you could stay right on site. It's going to have obviously a party atmosphere vibe with a lot of climbing to get up and around the reservoir. And then on Sunday, up at the reservoir itself will be a half marathon. It's actually calling it a heavy half marathon because it's longer. It's more like 14 or 15 miles. And then there will be a double of that, a double heavy marathon, or a heavy marathon. Trying to get the lingo right. That'll be on Sunday. So chance for races on 2 different days. And then the Ring the Springs 100-mile, we've moved it to June 11th. And that will be, if you haven't checked it out, we have a little bit of a preview on the Run Steep Get High channel. But this is going to be what we hope is a long-term premier 100-mile race in Colorado, really just across the West. You're going to have the first half is climbing up into the mountains above Colorado Springs. The second half of the race is going to be around the city of Colorado Springs itself. There's a lot of open spaces and trails that connect together, but it'll be more of an urban type of a run. So I think it's going to be an awesome mix of both mountains and urban type trails.
Sweet. Yeah. No, that sounds cool. I'll have to go watch the videos. Yeah, that is the one thing that I think is underrated about Colorado Springs is how easy it is to navigate through that city on foot without just being on normal streets and sidewalks. Like a ton of bike paths, a ton of like little cut throughs and connectors makes it very interesting. Also easy as hell to get lost, as I've found out on numerous occasions. So I'm excited to check out that course, and who knows, maybe let's be real, I'm not going to run that, but I might come and just like support.
There's the 50 mile, or I don't know. I mean, some people are pushing for a live commentary, so we'll just see what happens. Who knows? Anything's possible.
Yeah, I think a month after 100K, probably adventurous if I tried to do that. So,
I mean, if I get the go ahead to run the 100-miler from the team, you could come and pace. Just saying.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be good Western States media training for me.
There you go.
That'll be good. Yeah, get some miles in the legs with some climbing, because nothing's ever flat with you. Damn it! But it's fine. It's cool. Whatever. I still love you. It's whatever. Let's move on.
All right. So yeah, we launched some of those. What else happened? I don't know. Can't keep track.
We came back from the running event, and you kind of hosted a major 24-hour and 100-mile track race.
Yep.
That was kind of a big deal. Desert Solstice, live stream, well received. You had drones. You had on-track commentary. You had you guys in the studio. Very entertaining to watch. What was it? I think it was 20, couple dozen athletes chasing both age group national records, national qualifying marks. Most, I think, notable was your own brother setting the American record with a dirty negative split over the 24-hour period.
Yes, super exciting. Really proud of him and inspired by what he did. I mean, he's been working on this really for, I don't know, the better part of 5 years, if not longer. But the whole idea of like negative splitting these ultramarathon races, and to do it in a 24-hour race and to go under the American record by 2.5 minutes, essentially, is pretty incredible. It was incredible to watch, kind of on the edge of your seat the whole time, thinking like, he's not slowing down. He's just maintaining. He's actually speeding up. This is incredible. Is he going to be able to hold it together? We saw him last year, super consistent through 19 hours and then fell apart. So we were just kind of waiting and seeing what would happen. And he pulled it all together. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it was wild. I liked how many people were commenting on the fact that he was dropping 90-second laps at the very end. There's like, how is he running 6-minute pace? It's like, because this is literally what he does. Like everybody talks about whether you're training for, like a 5K, 10K marathon beyond. It's like, you should do fast finish runs. That's all it was for him. It was just like, all right, cool. Like, this is just the natural progression. And I've been doing strides for 10 years at this point for this moment, and just crushed it. So shout out to him. It was also hilarious though, that it was him on the bibs for all the athletes. So it seemed a little appropriate to be like, you got a picture of yourself on you as you're like setting this American record. I was like, all right, it's basically like if an age group athlete just showed up to a race with their own face on their shirt, we would clown them pretty hard probably. But because it's him, because it's Nick, it's like, oh, it's on the bib. Like, we expect you to do this sort of thing at this point. Like, all right, let's just keep it moving. So shout out to him.
It's been the tradition to put one of last year's race winners onto the bib. And it just so happened to be Nick this year. So kind of funny. I can't see him getting it 2 years in a row. We might have to go with Marissa Lizak as the women's winner or something, but we'll just see how it goes.
Hey, to each their own. I'm sure he'll take the W. Also, that's a pretty solid bib to have to put up on your wall, just like,
oh yeah,
it's me.
Exactly. Yeah, I loved the fact that we had the finish line interviews set up as well. I thought that was super cool. Yeah. Like, we basically grabbed almost every athlete, whether they dropped early or they finished. Well, I guess the finishers, we didn't really get many of them, but the people that dropped out earlier just did 100. We had them sit down, talk with the commentating team. I thought that was something a little different than what we've done before. Mm-hmm. And I actually really liked that. You got to really hear from them firsthand what was going on with them out there and how their race went. Yeah,
I mean, when you do a timed event or something on such a small course, it does allow for a lot more of that. Like at a Black Canyon, a Javelina, like unless somebody actually drops at headquarters and we were able to snap them up, that we probably wouldn't do that. Also, if somebody DNFs, they're usually less inclined to have that conversation, but just the general communal aspect that the Desert Solstice has. You have crews helping other crews and helping their runners. Like everybody's in that support network. I think it lends itself to that unique ability to snap up all those athletes, regardless of when they finish, and have those conversations. So definitely something to replicate in the future. I think a lot of people gained a lot of insight out of it. And, again, just trying to set the bar for what we should expect from ultra media as we move forward into 2022 and beyond.
Yep, absolutely. And I think what I think I see us doing is having a studio or a mobile setup at the finish lines, because at Solstice the event ended and we basically everyone leaves and like we didn't really get I guess there might have been some chatter with Nick but it wasn't quite the same. So I think like Black Canyon, I think we'll have a booth. It'll be set up at the finish. We'll grab your podium contenders as they finish the race, pop them in the booth. They can chat with the commentators in the studio, with people online and who are in the chat. I think it'll be really awesome.
Yeah, it'll be solid, especially because for the other races, for Black Canyon, for Javelina, they are golden ticket races, and so then you can start getting straight into, all right, what comes next? How do you progress into Western States training? Javelina's so far out from Western, and that's such like a unique twist that, maybe there'll be some unique storylines that pop out, like, oh, I'm using this. I have a different spring race and then transition to Western. So yeah, I'm all for a mobile studio. I'm all for just anything that allows folks to engage with the sport in an easier way. We get so many folks that are, their family members are running that end up in the chat, and to be able to be like, oh, but like, here's also like the tip of the spear, and learning about that, and that they are also normal people. They will have many of the same problems that your father, mother, son, daughter is having out on course, and you're going to hear these exact same stories from them in 1 to 16 hours. I think it'll go a long way to humanize and tell the stories of what's going on. So awesome. I'm with it. And apparently track is also on the flat side going to be getting this sort of storytelling component. I don't know if you heard this. Seb Coe did an interview with Sidious Mag, and he's a big F1 fan. He's been a big F1 fan forever. Apparently the rest of America found out, not the Seb Coe's from America, but America found out about F1 in the past year and a half with the Netflix series, Drive to Survive, and everybody getting super hyped all of a sudden about the sport. And apparently World Athletics and Seb Coe are working on the track version of a Drive to Survive product. So with a World Championships that's happening in the United States this summer, and then obviously turning attention towards 2024 Olympics, we might actually start seeing some of these athletes that, we hear about, we see on Instagram. We're actually going to get a bit of this behind the scenes storytelling, hopefully, so that we can actually, across all 18 events that occur on the track and field surfaces, we start to get a bit more insight. And then obviously a lot of these folks end up moving to, the marathon and then trails. So, there's a chance for us to get a little bit of a early investment in some folks that might be coming our way as the sport progresses. So get excited. More stuff to watch on the treadmill when the weather is bad. All right.
Awesome. We got a couple comments in the chat. Just a reminder, this is live. So if you have some questions for us, comments, anything about the sport. You drinking eggnog? Yeah, that boy.
Yes, sir.
Lactaid. Love it. So let's see. We got some chatter in here. Stephen Crawford is going to be running Ring the Springs. He's going to register as soon as it opens. I'm projecting a little bit there, but he says he wants to do it. Question about the heavy half marathon. It sounds like a 25K. That is pretty much right. So we're just going with a little bit of a different verbiage here. So embrace it. Okay. It must be a Colorado thing, I think, but that's what we're going with on those. So Let's see here. How much of the Ring the Springs is on road/pavement? I have a hard time picturing how it went from park to park. I will be fully honest. I don't know. I have only seen bits and pieces of it. I would imagine there is going to be definitely some stretches of it. I know we have to stay on pavement through the Garden of the Gods, and there will likely be some other. It'll probably be decently significant through the Springs, but I think it's just going to be a different style of race. So we will work on. I'm sure we're going to be updating the website more and more as registration opens up, and we'll have. We'll try and get like a chart on the breakdown percentage-wise of like single track, but the whole first half of the race for sure will be all on trails up in like the Cheyenne mountain area. Let's see here.
Just think of it as what JFK, but twice as long, and you get a shoe change in the middle.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, that's what a bunch of people do at JFK, right? You're on the AT, and then they just like swap shoes to whatever carbon plated thing they want for the.
Exactly. Yeah, put your more road friendly shoes on once you get down back through the start finish.
Yeah.
Is Nick going to be going for the world record at any point? I doubt it, but you never know. I mean, what is it? It's only 19 more miles further than he went. Anything is possible.
When you say it like that, it kind of just sounds rude, but yeah.
I am rude, so. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. Cool. That's all our comments and questions for now.
Sweet.
What do you want to jump into next?
The fact that I was talking about world athletics and the fact that we have world championships reminded me of the minutes from the USATF annual meeting came out. We talked a little bit about it at the running event that was occurring just days after we were together in person. But one of the things that came out was this push to have a mountain ultra trail, either event, festival, or just like one specific race to coincide with the world championships happening in Eugene. So if you actually go through the minutes that the American Trail Running Association were so kind to put out, you can actually see that Vin Lalana, the president of USATF, made a push. He was like, I don't care how you guys do it. Like, figure out some way to get some mountain ultra trail race to occur at the same time, whether it's in Eugene, Corvallis, just somewhere in Oregon. Like, this is a chance for us to highlight another area of the running space. While all eyes are going to be, on Oregon, on the sport writ large.
We should do it.
I mean, listen, if they pop up with something,
Who do I talk to? Nancy Hobbs? Is she in charge of this?
Talk to Nancy. Figure out. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a few races that already exist in that area, and so they might have to change the date slightly to make it work. But yeah, apparently the USATF has finally had something that looks like a vision of support for the mountain ultra trail community, and is trying to actually have it link up. I mean, you're also going to have a ton of visitors going to Eugene to watch the world championships, media, so on and so forth. And so, hey, it gives them something to do instead of only hanging out at Hayward Field and watching the road marathons and race walks when they happen. So that's exciting news.
When is that taking place?
Should be late July. But let me look that up super quickly. Cool. Yeah, let me get tickets too. Why not?
I mean, we should go regardless, right?
We should. Mid-July, July 15th, I believe, is the official start.
It's only like
July 15th to the 24th or 25th, something like that. So
15th through the 24th.
Something like that.
Whoa! So it's like a week it's over a week long, huh? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's Hard Rock weekend, the first part, but then, okay. All right.
Well, you're going to need to take a break and decompress.
I mean,
just do it in Oregon, whatever. It's fine.
Good times. Good times.
It'll be good. So yeah, so we'll be on the lookout. That'll be fun.
I don't know if I'm really allowed to say this, but speaking of like USATF stuff,
Yes.
we are and live streaming. We were talking about earlier. We might right now it's tentative, but we might be working on a live stream of a USATF championship next year. So more details forthcoming. That's all I'm going to say right now. But I think that could be a positive step forward to get some live coverage of a USATF championship race, similar to some of the live streams we've done for some of the Aeroviper races.
I'm all for.
We'll wait for the
proliferation.
Official announcement before we release any more information. But
I'm here for it. Absolutely would be great, especially because half the damn time we don't even know a USATF championship happens until after the fact. At least in the trail space, you kind of just forget unless you're signed up for it. So yeah, no, that'll be great to get some more shine on it. Also probably helps the budget for the MUT side.
It'd be great if they could chip in some. We'll see. Matt confirmed. Definitely not allowed to say it. So thankfully, I didn't say the name of the. But this is where you come for like the insider info. If you want to know like what's happening, you come to the Mountain Outpost pod. We leak the goods here. That's where it happens.
Last podcast we did a full legal breakdown. This one we're just dropping marketing knowledge. It's great. Next time we're just going to do an entire deep dive on the state of nutrition. No, that's exciting. What other? While we're talking about things that we probably should have been talking about sooner, but weren't allowed to or whatnot. The UTMB World Series. The cat is out of the bag. The details are finally known. However you want to play it. For those two other American races that a lot of people kept DMing me. Or pulling me aside and be like, all right, so is Jamil selling his races to the World Series? Turns out Canyons and Speed Goat. What? Okay, that came out of nowhere. But
that was
cool.
Kind of a curveball.
But it was fun. It was a good time. So glad that we have a little bit more clarity on what UTMB World Series looks like.
I think there's still going to be more they're hinting at.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But I guess they have now, 3 North American races because there's one in Mexico.
Yes.
It's like Puerto Vallarta, I think.
That sounds right.
Like
a
brand new race. So, but yeah, our races are not joining the series.
I mean, cool. We're staying independent. Yes.
Independent. Woo!
I say we like I work for the company. Whatever. I'm adjacent. Which also brings me to my next point. If you have something to say about Aeroviper or to Aeroviper, send it to Jamil. I don't work in the office. I don't work for the company. I'm just here my 90 minutes a week, and then I disappear. So if you got feelings, send them to him. That's it. That's just a PSA to clean up my inbox. Cool. Next.
All right. Glad we covered that one. On to the next one.
Let's talk about other random. We should probably do other recaps of things we talked about at the running event.
Roy, I just submitted my ballot. They were due yesterday, and I submitted it 2 days ago. So we're on top of it.
Hey, you didn't wait until the very last minute. I'm so proud of you. Progress.
Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, we had to submit. Apparently there's around 30 balloteers. I'm calling them. I don't know, voters. Around 30, as much as I know, and we had to submit our top 10 for male ultra runner of the year, top 10 for female ultra runner of the year, in order, and then age group top 5. So I think it was 50 and up. They want to know age group performances. So your top 5, just performances, not of the year. And then also your top 5 performances of the year overall for male and female.
Sweet.
So quite a few things to go through. It was definitely interesting, I guess. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about my picks. Maybe I should just wait. Probably don't want to piss everyone off in the world, but
yeah, let's just 1 week at a time. All right, we'll we'll drag it out on the next show.
Yeah, we can go deeper into it because I think it is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're looking at Ultra Runner of the Year, I feel like you've got to have. You're looking at your whole body of work. So if you have one or two great performances, it's going to be really tough for me to vote for you. And I think most of the people that I put in my top 10 had at minimum like 3 great performances, if not more. And the more you had, the more likely I was to probably vote you up. Granted, I'm also factoring in if you had 3 performances at very competitive races or you're setting course records, I definitely give you more weight. But it's interesting. You're oftentimes, what John Medinger says in his email to us, you're comparing apples to oranges a lot of times because how do you compare a super fast 50K on the roads with a Big's Backyard performance, with a win at Western States, with, something else, a 24-hour track race to a UTMB? Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
So it's really like you're combining multiple sports together, but we did the best we can, and it's kind of fun.
We need some version of the like World Athletics IAAF points table where it basically, it attributes a certain number of points to like how good a performance is. So like if you run a 220 marathon, it equates to a, in terms of equal points, it equates to a, like, what is it, 106 half or something. Like it basically runs it across the board. At some point, somebody who wants to do like big data should just try to create the equivalent of the trail ultra points table. Because I'm sure it would be absolutely absurd to try to be like, all right, here's a 3 hour and 1 minute 5K at a world championships compared to a UTMB performance. And like, how does that square up? So yeah, I'll leave it to somebody who actually does computer learning and figure that out, and then let us know how that turns out, please and thank you.
One thing I will say, because I'm seeing in the comments, this is open to North American, I guess, citizens only.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Ultra Running magazine. It's a magazine that was created here for North American events. So those are the only athletes that are considered. So we had a comment here, Jim or Francois. Well, Francois is not eligible for this one, so we can't include him. We can include North American athletes that compete globally. So for Jim, his performances this year, he had a win at Western States 100. He had his performance, his almost world record at Carbon X2, and he had his win at Cape Town. Those are essentially his performances. He had, what, did he DNF? He DNF'd UTMB, right? So he basically had 3 performances in this year. So that's what you're comparing. You're comparing him to, say, Arlen Glick, who had, I think, 4 100-mile victories.
At least, yeah.
Desert Solstice, whatever he did there. So didn't have quite the race he wanted. Anyways, there we go. That's as much speculation as I'll give. But that's the kind of thing you're comparing and contrasting.
Yeah. All right. We're going to have to do a deep dive on the next show.
Yeah.
And we'll just walk through it.
Yeah.
Because we also have some other awards to give out.
We could definitely pull up some of the performances and walk through it as if, and I would love to hear your feedback too, but we could just kind of spend some time. It'd be kind of fun and go through all that.
Sure. Yeah. Because nothing says good audio content like going through a spreadsheet, but we'll find a way to make it entertaining for you all. And yeah, no, we can do it. That might be an in-person thing. That might be us in the studio.
We really could. I mean, at this point, the 30th is coming up like in about a week. So
8 days, 9 days. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be kind of
cool.
Awesome, actually.
My people call your people. Sweet. So that's going down. We're also seeing a lot of other awards being given out this time of year. The Bowerman. So for the best NCAA athletes, went to Athing Mo and Javon Harrison, both of which obviously had great years. They both qualified for the Olympics. Athing Mo winning outright in that 800. So shout out to them. And we're also seeing a bunch of other changes in the world. We finally got a name for that old Nike Origin Project team, Pete's Dragons. Not what they landed on. Bummer, because everybody likes a good replacement for Game of Thrones. No, they went with the Union Athletic Club, which means absolutely nothing. I've heard some people hate on the fact that it's called an athletic club. It's just a bunch of people who run middle distance events and don't do jumps or throws, so it's not really an athletic club. Some people say it's a little bit too Euro, but the athletes that are on the team are mostly not American, even though it's an American-based group down, I think in the Carolinas now. I don't know. Whole lot of speculation. It was a big letdown, but ultimately, after the year that Nike has had, they probably were like, listen, let's just try to be as like non-controversial and low-key as possible. Let's do the most boring name possible. Union Athletic Club, cool. Pete Julian, go do your thing. And send Donovan Brazier and Charlie Hunter and the entire women's team to Worlds, and they'll be fine. So that happened. And then other shakeups are you stripping for us, sir? Okay, cool.
Just this thing off. It's fine. Keep
Attaboy. See, we always thought it was going to be Mountain Outpost Pod after dark, but it turns out Mountain Outpost Pod at noon is where things get weird. But no, there are a bunch of sponsor shakeups, right? It's that time of year. We've definitely seen a lot of shoes already drop with respect to specifically Hoka's NAZ Elite Group out of Flagstaff, coached up by Ben Rosario. We've seen 4 of their marathon men either decide on their own volition or due to contracts, decide to move on from the group. So Scott Fobbs is out. We've seen Rory Linkletter is out, Sid Vaughn Jr. is out, and Scott Smith has decided to retire, which makes sense because he's been on this grind for longer than most people have been following the sport, it feels like. So we'll see how that shakes out up in Flagstaff and what that means for their men's team moving forward. Sounds like Rory is going to be working with I think he's going to be working with Ryan Hall, I think is what I had heard. And then Fobbs is going working with Team Boss. So you don't hear a lot about the men of Team Boss. Morgan McDonald was basically the one that they had. And then when all the Under Armour contract stuff went down this past summer, he hopped over to On. So Fobbs working with Joe Bosshard, who's just been tearing it up on the women's side. In all of their women have been performing across all the event groups. It'll be interesting to see what Scott can do, even though he's going to be staying in Flagstaff for a little bit longer and not necessarily making the move permanently up to Boulder and Crested Butte and all that. So, Hoka NAZ Elite on one right now, but that's not going to be the only thing that changes because we just finished an Olympic cycle. So get excited for a slew of bio changes and Instagram handles. And by this time next week, I guess 2 weeks from now, folks are going to be in a completely different landscape as we head into a domestic world championships, while all these companies are also dealing with supply chain issues and not being able to sell as much merch as they're used to and trying to figure out how to navigate the finances of what's already a pretty broken sport. Get excited. Woo! What's going on in the ultra world? We got sponsor changes over there you want to not talk about?
Well, we just announced the Aeroviper racing team.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got that was kind of a big thing. So I can preface it by saying this is always, as any athletic team selection is incredibly difficult, incredibly challenging. We're trying to balance a number of factors, especially with the Aeroviper racing team. So, we had to make the hard decision to cut some people that have been with the team before. Never an easy thing to do. And then also balance, some new team members. We also, we can't support everyone, unfortunately. We wish we could, but we really want the people we do support, we want to give them great support. So we're able to support 20 athletes this upcoming season. And, we like to support athletes that are in the regions that we organize events and that we have a presence in. So we kind of limited it for now to Arizona, Colorado, and Utah. And that could change in the future if we go to new regions. or as our presence in Colorado becomes more, I could see us adding more of a localized team to Colorado, local athletes, and having maybe more of a national team. It'll evolve each year. Something exciting this year as well is we have a mountain bike racing team member this year, which is new. So we're super excited about that. But I can go through the list real quick. We've got, for the women, Corinne Chalvoy. She is out of Colorado. Lauren Curry has been on the team before. We got Sarah Ostaszewski, your winner of the Mogollon Monster this year. Tessa Chesser is back again. Nicole Lane is local to Phoenix. She is a faster road runner mostly, but she's focused on making the OTQ for this next cycle, but she has also been utilizing and dipping into the trail scene, basically setting course records here at local Aeroviper shorter distance races. Colleen Lingley out of Flagstaff is back. Charlie McKee is our only Utah team member again this year. Brianna Grigsby from Tucson. Lindsay McDonald is new to the team this year, but we've seen her crushing it more and more. 5th at Pikes Peak this year. And then Meredith Cook is another Colorado runner athlete. For the men, Nick Curry is back on the team. Charlie Ware, he's been on the team for quite a few years. We got Peter Mortimer, Austin Horn returning. Rory Moynihan is new to the team this year. He has been focusing on marathons a lot, but getting more into ultras. He won the Lake Sonoma 100K and placed pretty well at JFK. Andrew Bellis is back on the team. Miles White is our mountain bike team member. We got Drew Fraze, Graham Chalvoy, also out of Colorado, and then Trent Taylor is also new to the team this year. So there it is. That's our changes for the year. So we've shrunk the size of the team down a little bit, but hopefully we'll provide some more storytelling of these athletes in 2022. So we're very excited about that.
Sweet. And what I'm most excited about is when you field a club cross-country team with the Aeroviper racing team, because to me that would be quite entertaining. It's like, hey, I get it. You guys really like this 100-mile mountain stuff. That's fine. Would you like to run a grassy 10K? Yeah. How does that speak to you? I just want to see it happen. You know, we had the club cross-country nationals a few weeks ago. I think at the running event, we talked about the sound running event that was happening at Mount Sac. Tim Mann Elite just went and dominated that. But Brooks Hansen's fielded teams at Mount Sac and then went on to win on both the men's and women's side club cross country nationals. So, hey, listen, I'm just saying, if you want to aspire to something,
I think for that we would have to do tryouts and field a team from the downtown Phoenix run, because those guys are legit fast at short distance. I think we would put Josh Walker at the helm of that, and I think we would have some tryouts, and I think that could be super fun.
Just you got 11 months to figure it out.
They have local meets, or you're talking about we go to like some nationals or whatever?
I mean, there is a club cross country national meet, but yeah, there is also localized cross country races you can do. Or if you're in Phoenix, you can get to San Diego. You can get to I wouldn't go to Albuquerque. That sounds painful, but there are other options you have to like do some shorter cross style races before you ran a club nationals. So just saying, take it under advisement. It'd be fun.
Legit.
Diversify your bonds.
Look into it.
I'm trying to like build up this run flat element. So just let me have this moment.
Okay. Love it.
Support me. Let's me and my people. Speaking of support and just general mayhem, did you hear the story about the guy who got lost in a looped 100-mile race?
Oh yeah. Yep, we can talk about this. Do you know much about it, or?
I read the article. Well, I saw a press release and then I had to read the article. But basically, what's his name? Earl Blewett.
Yep.
Horrible name for somebody to end up in a story like this. But basically,
I didn't even put it together what that is.
He's, they're doing a race down in Florida.
So this is Mike Melton's race.
Yeah. I did read that and was like, I know it's well managed. So it's not like it's super like a super
It's a
rookie.
3.5 mile loop, but it like winds back on itself. So it's geographically a very tiny area of the Florida Everglades. I don't know. It's called the
Yeah.
Enchanted Forest. And he even had, so it's 27, however many loops to get 100 miles of this thing. So Earl, he was on loop 17, leaving around 9:30 p.m. And there was multiple timing points on the course. He never passed the one a mile from the start line. Just completely went MIA. They're out searching for him. So this was Saturday night in the middle of the event. The event ends on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. He's still nowhere to be found. His rental car's sitting there at the start line. His phone and ID are in there. The sheriffs come out, the search and rescue, the helicopters, the dogs, the bloodhounds. They're searching the woods. Not a huge area. It turns to night again, and they don't find him. The next morning, he's found, like, in the woods behind some business,
Yeah.
a half a mile as the crow flies from the start-finish line.
Like on the other side of a highway.
Yeah.
So it went from this rural loop to like having to cross 6 lanes of traffic or whatever, and then ends up behind a business. Wild. It's not like this is his first 100-miler either. Like he's an experienced guy.
He's been running ultras since 1995.
Right. So just a complete kerfuffle across the board. Obviously happy that it turned out, safe and sound and nothing much worse. But damn, there's no hope for any of us that are challenged in navigation if an experienced guy can't navigate around a 3.5-mile loop. It's a real Barkley-esque journey that he went on there.
Yeah, definitely.
So many good stories, so many headlines that come out of that. His name, you could just generically say Florida man, anything for this story. Oh, so much. Such a positive way to end 2021 from a just a fun media headline.
Well, I could say I'm sure Mike, as the director, I can feel for him, like,
yeah,
just all the not knowing. And I mean, it sounds like they did everything they could. I mean, he had timing points. He knew he was between here and here, 1 mile. And it's just it's kind of so crazy that you can lose someone in that kind of short amount of space. But I guess in like heavily wooded area in the middle of the night, you can get disoriented. You can wander in circles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at some point you give up and just be like, I'm going to hunker down for the night. I don't know. It's a very strange situation.
Yeah. I don't know how you rectify that in the future. Like we do the wave lights just around the entire course, like you have on the track, and just like beacons, just like keep following this way. Yeah, I don't know. It's a wild story to say the least. But hey, you learn. You're like, hey, don't take anything for granted. Everybody needs to prepare. Everybody needs to know your course. Like that. That's the take home message, I think, for a lot of folks. So It's all good. We'll be fine. We got any other news? Anything else we got to recap on in the last couple of weeks since we've been together? Things we got to preview? Nothing's happening this week. It's Christmas weekend.
Yeah, Christmas weekend. I mean, really, the only thing coming up is across the years, towards the end of the year. We obviously, I'm super excited about the last person standing. I think we've got about 10 entrants or something. But the other races, we could talk real quick about them and some of the big names and storylines that are happening.
Yeah.
So the 6-day is going to be the most well-attended, 47 entrants. We got Amy Mower returning. She has won this race before. Pete Kostelnick, fresh off Desert Solstice, is apparently he's staying in the Phoenix area through the race, so
cool.
He's shooting for something big. We got Sarah Emoto coming back. Trying to see who else here. Steven Smith is always here and a contender. Andrea Maynor. She is high ranking, but I don't see. This will be her first multi-day, looks like. Oh, here we go. We got Nikolai Bushino This is a runner who has done Self-Transcendence 10-day, 677 miles, and the 6-day at Icarus in Florida, 409 miles. So definitely some experience there.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra Villainous Burris. I think I recognize that name. 6 days in the Dome, first place, 422 miles for the women. So, yeah, there will definitely be some contenders for the 10-day. We got one big entrant, the Bujergal Bayamba from Mongolia. So he's run here before. He won the 6-day at ATY in 2018.
Yep.
Also won the 6-day at 6 days in the Dome this summer with 561 miles. Has done a bunch of 6-day races. Has won Self-Transcendence 10-day in the past with 737 miles, and did 810 miles and was second one year. So excited to have him back. We also have Whit Weisbrom will be doing a fundraiser for the 10-day. He is a speed hiker, was at Cocodona this year. Van Fan will be doing the 10-day. John Giesler. Let's see here. Arun Barjwaj. This is a Self-Transcendence runner, 6-day runner. Let's see. Won the 72-hour at Icarus before. Also 5th at Icarus. And did 469 at the Self-Transcendence 10 days. Coming to us from India. So that is pretty exciting. Got a couple international entrants despite all of the travel challenges. And then we've got a lot of our longtime ATY runners that are going to be coming back. Bill Dickey, Chris Furman, Robert Andrulis, Bobby Keogh, Edna Bauer, Mary Boyd. Kind of a lot of the classic folks. And then a lot of our Aeroviper staff members are going to be also joining, which is exciting. They're going to be working the race, staying out there, putting miles in. So always good time at it across the years.
Absolutely. And if people want to follow along, obviously, the live tracking will be up on airviperrunning.com. Yep. So yeah, follow your runner or runners of choice. And 24-hour events are also happening.
Oh, yeah.
48 hours are happening.
48-hour, so 24-hour, 100-mile. There's a ton of people just coming out to do 100 miles. We've got marathons going on every single day. So we got some people doing 10 days of marathons for the Marathon Maniacs Club. The last person standing officially has 10 entrants. It is mostly staff and friends, but we'll kind of see how that plays out. Jeff Garmeyer, Matt Feldake, Jen Laughlin, me, Keith Munch, Paul Nielsen, Rob Ricardo, Paul Johnson, John Klaus, David Cortman.
Sweet.
That's the list. Wish it was more, but it'll be a fun crew.
Hey, well, not too late. People can still
race day sign up at this point.
Yeah, there it is. So keep it on top of your mind. Keep it in your browser tabs. But also, it's a holiday weekend for many people. So also just don't get on your computer for a little bit. Relax this weekend. Hang out with friends and family and loved ones. Just, be happy and thankful for making it through another year of just absurdity, most likely for damn near everyone involved. And then we'll bring it back together, hopefully one more time before the end of 2021. Go out with a bang. And then I know the two of us have big things planned for 2022, and we'll start diving into those plans once we eclipse into the new year. But I also think we have a hard out right now because it's the middle of a damn work day for one of us, because your boy's on vacation. Bam! But for all of you who've joined us in this unique time in the live chat, thank you. If you want to follow us normally when we do this, just make sure you subscribe to Mountain Outpost on YouTube and click that notification little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get the notification when we do random live times like this. And if you're listening to us on your podcatcher of choice on the Steep Life Media channel, just make sure you subscribe to that bad boy too, so that when you're out on your long runs or when you're trying to avoid your family this weekend because they started talking about politics, you can throw it in your ears and then you'll be occupied for an hour. So you're good to go. But that's it. You got anything else for the people, my guy?
I don't think so. I think that's it. So yeah, stay tuned. I guess it sounds like we'll be leaning towards doing a live in-person show. Maybe next Thursday? I don't know, Friday, something like that.
Well, we'll figure out the schedule. We'll drop it in the Discord. That's also a thing you should join. The link will be below in the description of this video and also past editions of the Mountain Outpost podcast. But join the Discord. We got a whole section specifically for the podcast, as well as a bunch of Aeroviper specific races, specific things for across the years. If you're doing Vertmas, there's a whole thread or a whole channel in there for that. So join us on the Discord and just enjoy being a part of this community as it continues to flourish and grow and come together once again for the end of 2021 and into the new year. If you celebrate, Merry Christmas. If you don't, Happy Kwanzaa, I guess. Happy Boxing Day. Enjoy just whatever crazy eggnog and snacks you want, and keep on the grind. You don't need to wait until the 1st to kick off your New Year's resolution. So if you got something you want to accomplish, let's just start getting after it now. He's been Jam Jam. I've been Skizzle Fresh. This has been a podcast, and we will catch you guys later. Deuces.